"You're not supposed to be here," the old man whispered, his eyes glowing like embers. "No one returns from the dreamscape once they leave." Aarav blinked. The floating islands around him shimmered like fragments of a forgotten dream, drifting silently, weightlessly, against a violet sky. Below, the void stretched endlessly. And somewhere in that dreamlike world, he heard her voice. When Aarav closed his eyes that night, he didn't expect to wake up on an island that floated above clouds. He didn't expect the grass to shimmer, or the trees to hum with breath. But most of all, he didn't expect to feel her again, Mira. Aarav hadn't slept properly since the accident. Mira's name still echoed in his chest like unfinished music. Their love story had been a slow burn, two souls gently colliding over shared books, streetside chai, and long midnight walks. But just when their hearts had fully opened, fate had slammed the door. They never got to say goodbye. Now, standing barefoot on an island floating in nothingness, he wondered, was this grief, or magic? He saw her at twilight. Hair fluttering like ink in water, a yellow dress flowing around her like sunlight. She wasn't Mira. Not exactly. But her smile had the same curve, and her eyes, they held storms. "I've been waiting," she said. "You took longer than I thought. I don't know where I am. You're in the dreamscape. Between what you lost, and what you still hope for." She extended a hand. "I'm Leah. I can show you around. But be careful. The islands, they feed off your emotions." Aarav hesitated, then took her hand. It was warm, familiar, and yet, hauntingly strange. Each island had a name: joy, regret, passion, despair. On longing, the sky rained memories. On hope, fireflies whispered forgotten wishes into his ears. On desire, the air shimmered with illusion. He saw Mira standing across a bridge that crumbled as he ran toward her. But through it all, Leah stayed by his side. She didn't explain much, but she always looked at him like she knew how heavy his soul was. They laughed sometimes, she made him forget the world he came from. And yet, every night, the dream twisted. He heard voices in the fog. Whispers. Something watching. "Who created this place?" Aarav asked one night. Leah's smile faltered. "No one. Or maybe, someone who lost too much." Aarav stared into the water, and it stared back. He saw himself, years younger, standing beside Mira in their favorite bookstore. Her laughter, soft and glowing, rang out as he brushed a strand of hair behind her ear. The reflection warped, turning to the hospital corridor, the beeping machines, and Mira's pale hand slipping from his. The lake whispered, "You left her." He fell to his knees. "I couldn't save her," he choked. "She forgave you," Leah said quietly. "But have you?" Aarav looked at her, tears clinging to his lashes. "Why do you care?" "Because I know what it's like to lose someone and keep walking like you didn't die with them." He didn't realize until that moment, her voice trembled just like his. She wasn't guiding him. She was grieving too. As they moved between islands, their connection deepened. Not a whirlwind, no dramatic declarations. But small things. She laughed at his bad jokes. He noticed she never looked at her reflection. They built a fire one night and just sat in silence. Comfortable. Real. "I used to believe dreams were escapes," Leah whispered. "But this place? It's a mirror. It forces you to feel everything you buried." Aarav touched her fingers, gently. Their hands stayed locked longer than necessary. "Is this real?" he asked. "Maybe the realest thing we'll ever know." And for the first time since Mira, Aarav's heart beat not with pain, but with possibility. They stumbled upon it by accident. No name. No color. A barren, cracked land where shadows moved without form. There, an old man sat beside a broken sundial. His eyes were molten gold. "You've walked far," he said. "But you can't stay." "Why not?" Aarav asked. "Because if you stay too long, you forget what's real. You forget why you came." "I didn't come here on purpose. Grief brought you. But now you have a choice." Leah stepped back, her voice barely a whisper. "Don't listen to him." But the man's eyes bored into Aarav. "She's not what she seems." That night, Aarav couldn't sleep. Leah watched the stars, humming an unfamiliar lullaby. He noticed how the light passed through her fingertips. How her shadow didn't always follow her feet. "You're not alive, are you?" he asked softly. Leah smiled, but her eyes glistened. "I died here. Long ago. I waited for someone to remember me." "Then why help me?" "Because even in death, I remembered love. I remembered wanting to be seen, truly seen. You looked at me like I was more than memory." He reached for her. She leaned into his touch, weightless, like a dream dissolving. The old man returned. "This is your last chance," he warned. "Cross this bridge, and you return to your world. Stay, and the dreamscape will swallow you whole." Aarav looked at Leah, her outline beginning to fade. "But what if I want to stay?" "Then you'll forget who you were. Even her." The choice tore him in half. In one hand, the real world, empty without Mira, but alive. In the other, a girl he didn't expect to love, but now couldn't imagine losing. "I don't want to lose you too," Aarav whispered. "You already did," Leah smiled. "But maybe, that's okay." Aarav stepped toward the bridge. Leah held his hand one last time. "Remember me, not for what I was, but for what we shared. You helped me feel alive again. Now go live for both of us." A final kiss, fleeting, electric. Then, she let go. As Aarav crossed the bridge, the islands behind him trembled, and then scattered into stardust. He woke in his bed, breathless, heart racing. It was morning. The world felt heavier. But also, lighter. He walked outside, past the bookstore where he met Mira, past the park where they used to sit, and finally to the hill where they'd dreamed of building a life. He sat there, and whispered, "Thank you, Leah." The wind carried the scent of wildflowers. And for a brief moment, he felt her hand in his. That night, as he drifted to sleep again, he dreamt of a new island. It wasn't floating anymore. It was grounded. Blooming. And standing there, was a girl in a yellow dress. Smiling. Waiting.